they was learning from him. I don't think that they would be not such a just sutta that they remove the subject and give 10 other subject. Yeah. And you can see it was just creation from stupid monks, yeah, in later. But the heart, anicca, dukkha, Four Noble Truth, that is real. That is real. I think the heart is really real, yeah.
Yeah, that is, see, Richard, now the thing is like this. If a sutta says that the Buddha was not satisfied, let's say as an argument, fine, we can ignore it and continue, because there is no Buddha today. There is no Buddha today to say that, look, I liked it, I did not like that, or these monks liked it, we didn't like that.
Okay, let's do it, the new session. It's okay.
Right, absolutely.
I give it up, yeah.
That's okay.
That was my question, actually, Richard.
No, the question is very nice. No, I really appreciate, Richard, that the question is correct. See, but then we need to, if we go in the debate, then we have to remove that sutta. Fine, no issues. That's the only thing we can do.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
But I would like to see it from the other side. As I heard that sometimes there is a line that says that here in Saj, the person got enlightened. Here in Saj, the person got to arahantship. Or sometimes it is written that they were just satisfied to hear so, and they left in good appreciation and so on. And
right.
Here, just suddenly, they were not satisfied. So I see maybe it has something to do with that gradation.
No, the thing is, there is a reason why they were not satisfied. Out of the all the people who had assembled there, especially for the Mula Pariyaya Sutta, Buddha talks about all, including Nibbana. He talks that even the Nibbana has to be removed from the mind, that you're seeking Nibbana. Okay, and the thing about Nibbana is that everyone, including me, you and everyone, would like to attain Nibbana. So when in the Mula Pariyaya Sutta, he says that even Nibbana has to be given up. Right? So then it becomes a problem. And then I'm not satisfied. Why you are saying that I need not go with Nibbana as well? Right? Because the 24 includes Nibbana also. If Nibbana was not there, then I feel that the monks would have got satisfied with his explanation. But in that, he says that a sekkha, a person who is learning, and then he is in Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, he would not aspire for Nibbana also. Right? And when he talks about Arhat, he says that Arhat never gets into Nibbana. And then he talks about Tathagata. So if I am a person who is reading the sutta, or somebody is telling me that sutta, I wouldn't be satisfied, to be honest. And that is what is written in the end. Listening to this, nobody, the bhikkhus were not satisfied with what Buddha said. And there ends the sutta. Okay, the reason that is because the 24th one is the Nibbana, and all along we've been thinking that Nibbana is the highest sukha, right? And then comes this Mula Pariyaya Sutta which says that no. Now it looks confusing to me because all suttas everywhere talks about Nibbana, and this sutta asks me to drop Nibbana. I get a doubt whether Buddha would have done this mistake. I don't think so. Somebody would have written it, or somebody would have added some schism in the Sangha, and this is, please remember, this is Diga Nikaya, this is the first sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya. It is not somewhere in the end it is there. It is the first one. Like in the Diga Nikaya, there is this Brahmajala Sutta. That's the first one. Even if you were to read Brahmajala Sutta and understand about it, you will not like what Buddha has indicated there in that 62 wrong views. So, I feel it's my mistake, or it's my shortcoming in not trying to look at what is Buddha trying to say. So then I would say, I don't think so, this is said by Buddha or something like that. That is fine, it's fair, no problem. What we can do is, we read it and we find it's not comfortable, we can drop that sutta, we can take some other sutta. That doesn't really make any difference. But the serious of that matter in that sutta especially, the reason I took it out, because he talks about all of them, and we were mature enough by now to understand how this whole thing works. So the Nibbana is also not to be held, because the moment you hold it, the person gets into rebirth consciousness. So that's the reason it is there. But I want to experience Nibbana as a Sotapanna. I want to be in Nibbana as a Sakadagami. I want to be in Nibbana as an Anagami. And here comes Buddha saying that, no, sorry. Now my question is, how and why? I am doing all of this for Nibbana. So that's the thing. Anyway, so we'll start today's session with a beautiful sutta which is called as the honey ball sutta. It's called as Madhupindika, and then we will go to the Kāyagatāsatisutta. To actually, what we can do is we can practice the four foundation of mindfulness, in that the kaya, that is the body, and then see what happens when we proliferate something through the Madhupindika Sutta. So let me start on that, and then this Madhupindika Sutta is MN 18, Majjhima Nikaya 18. So if anybody, I shared the link. So if you have not gone through it, it is okay. So in this sutta, what happens here, I will give a brief and then we will go through the entire sutta. The brief here is, there is a person, and in fact Buddha would be in the Sakya land, and he is going for his alms, and a Brahmin monk comes along and then asks Buddha, what kind of teaching do you give to your people? I'm interested in actually knowing what is that. 1 minute, so let me open it. So what is the kind of the teachings you're trying to give? And the Buddha says that, look, my teaching is something where it doesn't land up in any controversies, any discussions, any debates, or anything which will cause any concern to anyone. And then with that, Dandapani, that person, does not understand what is this Buddha trying to say. So then he feels not that happy, so he makes some face and everything, and he goes away. And he doesn't understand what is Buddha trying to say also. So this Dandapani, what he does is that he asks him in a quotation kind of a thing, with a sarcastic way, saying that I've heard a lot about you, I don't know what kind of thing you teach. And equally sarcastically, Buddha talks about, saying that, you know what, I will give my teaching in such a way that nobody has any issues, and nobody can get into any kind of issues. So this is what he says, and he moves away. And then he comes back. Buddha comes back to the retreat, and then he meets all the monks and tells them that what all has happened. And then one of the bhikkhu over there asks the Buddha, okay, what is that teaching which you said is not going to have any conflict with anyone? And how is that? That is, when somebody knows and somebody perceives it, how is that it helps the person to be detached from sensual pleasures without indecision? That means he can now decide, removes his worry and affliction to whatever he is trying to do, and gets rid of craving for rebirth or not having rebirth. That is bhava, abhava, both. Meaning, one is that I want to become this, I don't want to become that. Both shouldn't be there. So, kama bhava, rupa bhava, arupa bhava. So we have three. And then we have kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha. That is the craving of sensuality, craving to become something, and craving to not to become that thing. So all the three are craving. So how does that stop? So Buddha uses one technical term called as papancha. Okay, pancha is 5. Papancha is something that you make it up, proliferate using the 5 senses. So let's talk about that, and then this sutta also goes through it. Now when we talk about these 5 senses, is that I see something through the eye and get the eye consciousness. Now when there is eye consciousness, there is a contact, that is eye, sight and eye consciousness. So then there's 3 becomes a contact. Phassa pachaya vedana, that is, there's a feeling. Yam vedeti tam sanjanati, that means whatever one feels, one perceives, and whatever one perceives, then he starts thinking, and whatever one starts thinking, he will create that thing called as papancha. Now the question comes, what is this papancha? A papancha is something which will block the person from seeing the reality as is. Take an example. My name is Vilas. It's papancha. How is it papancha? It is papancha because when this body was born, there was no name. There was no identity. Now there is an identity now. So when this identity comes, what happens? When this identity comes, like right now as I'm speaking, I'm having these following what we can say roles. There is a son, so I become a father. There is a wife, so I become the husband. And there is a friend, I become a friend to that husband. To that friend. Then if there is an enemy, then I become an enemy to that person. Then if there is some other like colleague in an organization, then I become a colleague to that organization. So now whatever is perceived, I have to think on that role, which is the papancha. Now whenever I create that papancha with that proliferation, then the whole experience becomes possible, even though there is nothing to experience as a father, nothing to experience as a brother, nothing to experience as a friend, nothing to experience as an enemy, nothing to experience as a colleague or like that. But we feel that experience. So there is something which is getting experienced. So when the sight is seen, there is an experience, because then I pick up and say that this is my wife, or this is my friend, or this is my colleague, and so on. So when I hear the sound, I don't take it as a sound. I take it as my friend's sound, or my wife's sound, or my son's sound, something like that. So it takes care of all the five. So that creates the underlying tendencies. So when there is an underlying tendencies to desire and repulsion, views, doubt, conceit, the desire to be reborn and ignorance starts. So a person who has understood the Buddha teachings will not do any one of these. And when he doesn't do any one of these, there is no scope for argument. Because for argument, you need to have an individuality, and then that should really frame things up. That means using language and connotation and all that, we need to come up with concept. So when there are no concepts to discuss, then what happens? When there is no concept to discuss, then something very profound thing happens, is that the mind becomes completely peaceful. It doesn't get involved into anything whatsoever. So that is the beautiful part of this whole thing, that it doesn't. So when it doesn't get involved like this, it becomes completely at peace, and hence there is no need to tell lies or accuse or dispute and argument and quarrels and all that. So this is the way Buddha Dhamma doesn't create papancha sanya sankha, that is perception born out of proliferation. That is, I keep on thinking and make it a story. So majorly proliferation is the story, and all of us have stories. So the moment we stop giving stories or making up stories, it becomes extremely peaceful experience. So this is what he says, and he goes away, and then the Venerable Mahakachayana explains further, because these monks, they don't question the Buddha, but then they remember that Mahakachayana knows about it. So then he uses this beautiful verse which can be used for all the five senses. I will first read out in Pali. It says, Chakum cha avuso paticca rupe cha upajjati chakkuminyanam tinnam sangati phasso phassa pachaya vedana yam vedeti tam sanjanati yam sanjanati tam vitakketi yam vitakketi tam papancheti yam papancheti tato nidanam purisam papancha sanya sanka samudacharanti atita anagata pachuppannesu chakku vinyanesu rupesu. Now let's translate this into English in a easy way. Chakkum avuso, dear friends, chakku, eye, when it comes in contact, that is paticca, that is when it bonds, rupa, with the form, upajjati, there arises chakku vinyanam, that is the consciousness. So then eye, object to be seen, and the consciousness makes both of them, and these three coming together creates the contact. And when there is contact, that there is this feeling, and there is a feeling, there is a perception of that feeling. So now I come to know, oh, I saw my wife, oh, I saw my friend, I saw my student, I saw this, I saw that. Yam sanjanati tam vitakketi. Now I start thinking about them, creating stories, what I need to say and how I need to say, what language should be used, what connotation should be used, and all of that. yam vitaketi, yam vitaketi tam papancheti. Now I create this. Papancha is also world. So the loka gets created using this 5 things which come together to create an obstacle in way that you cannot see the reality. So now just a sight becomes a wife, just a sound becomes a wife's sound, just a taste becomes something, just a touch becomes touch of the wife. Okay, just the smell becomes the smell of the wife. Like that each. So I can call it as a friend, or I can call it as a colleague, I can call it as whatever I want. And then that calling and creating an I-ness into it is the problem. Then once I have this papancheti, tato nidanam purisam papancha sanya sankha samudacharanti. That means this person is now fully involved with the story. That is, I become a complete story in a way that atita, anagata, pachupanna, past, future, present is created due to chakku vinyanesu rupesu. That is the rupa getting involved with the chakku, that is the eye. So like that we go into the ear consciousness and the nose and the body and the mind, all the 6 of them. So when there is an eye, sight and eye consciousness, it's possible to point out what's known as a contact. And when there is a contact, it's possible to know that what is a feeling. So we get 3 kinds of feeling. One is the feeling of pleasant, and one is the feeling of the painful, unpleasant, and the third one is a neutral feeling. So we're going to have that feeling. And when there is feeling, it's possible to point out what's known as a perception. And when there is a perception, one can point out that there are concepts created in the mind through the thinking. And that comes into the proliferation of perception. So like that. So now how do I come out of it? Is to hear, see, sense everything without any additions or deletions. Okay, if we could do that, what happens? Immediately the person gets into Nibbana. So the basic idea of understanding it here is, one is the worldly life and another one is the out of the world life, which is Nibbana. That is, one is Sankata, conditioned, one other one is Asankata. If we were to see it, the moment I create a wife or a husband or a friend or a daughter or a son or this or that, the papancha gets created. If I am not creating the son or the daughter or a friend or a foe or a husband and a wife and all that, then there is no papancha created. If there is no papancha created, then the mind doesn't move forward, it just stops. So when there is no movement of the mind becomes stilled. If the mind becomes stilled, it is in Nibbana. Whereas when I proliferate and then makes the story that I have a wife, I have a husband, I have a son, I have a daughter, I have a friend, I have this and that, the story gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Now what happens is the mind is completely disturbed, either disturbed with raga, that is the desire, dvesha, it is the hatredness, and the moha, not able to understand that what's the true nature. The true nature is anicca, dukkha, anatta, subha. Now with this knowledge, what we are going to do is that we are now going to get into the Kāyagatāsatisutta. This is M. Majjhima Nikaya 119. Okay, and what we are going to do is that we are going to practice this sutta. Okay, so we are going to start the practice. You relax your body, sit in a posture which you are comfortable about it. Observe your breath and look at this Madhupindikasutta, what we just now covered. That is, how is the world getting created in our mind? Meaning, how have we created from morning till today? Whatever events you have done, just have a look at it. For 10 minutes, you have a look at all the events of your day. And you can see that every story has been created due to seeing, tasting, touching, smelling, thinking, and hearing. All the 6 of them. So 5 plus 1, 5 senses plus the mind, 6th one. So there are thoughts. And we can see that there is this proliferation which has happened. That is, we try to make that into a story. So we can look at all the stories from morning till now. So take 10 minutes time and then do it. After that, what we're going to do is, after 10 minutes, we are going to start with the watching the breath and then calming the body and completing it by making sure the breath has become very light. And it doesn't feel that you are breathing. Okay, so that is the whole objective of today. So let's start now. Let us watch the breath. Look at the in-breath and the out-breath. Watch it, whether it is heavy. You will have a long breath. Or it can be short. One thing we can see in all our thinking from morning till now is everything is arisen and it is passed away. So all the stories, good story, bad story for the day has got completely erased. It's there only in the memory. But outside nothing is there. If you are able to watch like this, immediately you will find peace. Let's try it out for 10 minutes. Let us now observe the body should have become extremely calm. The place where you're sitting, now you'll be able to observe the breath from top of the head to the tip of the toe. One single breath you can experience from the top to the toe. Again, from the toe to the top. Breathing in from the tip of the toe to the top of the head. Breathing out from the top of the head to the toe. If you are able to do this, then you should be able to calm the whole body, where the breath is almost not there. Continue on this practice and you will be able to see the anicca in that, and also the anatta. Just for conventional, we are using a language, and the language has the first person, the second person, and the third person. So I becomes the first person, you becomes the second person, he or she becomes the third person. In the breath there is neither I nor you nor he or she. Let's now do this for a good amount of time. As you can see now, there are no memories or thought of the householder's life, the job on hand, any kind of relationships. You would not find any one of these thoughts. So now this you can do it as being mindful or aware of the body. This is the bhavetabba to be developed. Focus on the breath. Don't let the mind go anywhere other than the breath. If there are pulsations, throbbing, just be aware of it. If you are hearing the heartbeat, that is good. Don't have to concentrate, just be an observer. Continue on this as long as you can. Look at the calmness of the body and just be there.